Wonder of the Seas has arrived in the United States. Royal Caribbean is lifting mask restrictions. And what the heck is Cruiseverse? Let's talk all about this week's cruise news up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We've got some major updates to talk about this week with new mask changes, vaccine requirements. Wonder of the Seas has made it to her home in Florida, and there's a new trademark filing that really has me scratching my head. But let's start off with, of course, Royal Caribbean's Wonder of the Seas. This is Royal Caribbean's newest cruise ship in the fleet, and in fact, it is the 5th Oasis-class cruise ship, and she is here, and she just made the transatlantic journey from Europe over to North America, and she arrived in Fort Lauderdale on Sunday night. Now, there's less than 2 weeks until Wonder of the Seas begins cruising from Port Everglades in Florida in the months of March and April, and then she'll move over to Europe a little bit later. Wonder of the Seas took 3 years to build, and there's a little bit of a delay there due to COVID-19, but she's almost ready to welcome her first passengers on board. Wonder of the Seas measures 1,188 feet long and was delivered last month and will begin cruises on March 4th. The 18-deck cruise ship can fit up to 6,988 guests and 2,300 crew members. That's at like super full capacity. Not likely to get quite that high, but it is quite possible. What makes Wonder of the Seas truly unique, especially compared to the other Oasis-class ships, is that she has 8 neighborhoods on board, not just 7. The other Oasis-class ships have 7, and the neighborhoods, by the way, are the way that Royal Caribbean basically helps navigate guests on board their ships and differentiate areas visually from each other. So that was a little bit easier to get around the ship. And Royal Caribbean actually added an 8th neighborhood known as the Suite neighborhood on Wonder of the Seas. Of course, it's going to have some other Oasis-class features, which you all know and love, right? You've got the Ultimate Abyss slide, water slides, mini golf, and some new features on board the top decks of Wonder of the Seas, including a playscape area, which looks really interesting. But Royal Caribbean also revealed the entertainment on board, the shows that you can see on Wonder of the Seas. Now, Wonder does not have a Broadway show like other Oasis-class ships, but she does have a number of original performances, and here's the big ones you should be knowing about. Number 1 is going to be Intense, which is set in the Aqua Theater. It features an all-female cast performing aerial and diving acrobatics. This is a brand new show with plenty of diving, slacklining feats, tumbling, aerial acrobatics, and more, and it's punctuated by inspiring lights and sound. Over in Studio B, you've got 365 The Seasons of Ice, which will tell the story of Earth's changing seasons. Performers will embody the flow of time as their characters and their every move are accentuated by innovative projection mapping, colorful lighting, and images and sound, which transform the venue from one season to the next. The ice skating shows are always really interesting on Royal Caribbean. And something also that's different coming to Wonder of the Seas is a brand new show called Voices, an intimate performance on a grand scale. So over in the Royal Theater, you're going to have this new show that focuses on the power of live performances. Royal Theater's bespoke show features a wondrous melody of music, singing, and dancing, and will underscore the unifying power of performance art. Now, those 3 shows will be available as soon as Wonder of the Seas begins sailing March 4th. A little bit later this year, there's no date with it, but just sometime later in 2022, Royal Caribbean will deliver the sequel to its superhero-inspired musical, Effectors 2: Crash and Burn. Effectors first debuted on Spectrum of the Seas and Odyssey of the Seas, and is basically a show about a group of superheroes with awesome abilities based entirely on creativity. Royal Caribbean says the latest installment of the Effectors is, quote, bigger and bolder, featuring trailblazing applications of autonomous technology pioneered by Royal Caribbean. Now, in addition to the shows you're going to see in the theater and on the different performance venues, you've also got live music. Royal Caribbean has always been known for amazing live music on board its ships. You're going to have live country music in the Mason Jar Southern Restaurant and Bar. And by the way, the Mason Jar is a brand new dining concept coming to Wonder of the Seas. You'll have, of course, live Caribbean music and DJs poolside at the Lime and Coconut. Music Hall is going to offer tribute bands, jazz ensembles, and of course, a Royal Caribbean house band. Stowaway piano player will be available on board, and the stowaway piano player is basically somebody who hides, if you will, around the ship and pops up for special performances and can really play almost any song on the piano. Boleros will, of course, be on Wonder of the Seas, another staple of any Royal Caribbean ship. And you're going to find their salsa, cumbia, merengue, samba, and more. The English pub, the Cask and Clipper, which is one of my favorite places to go every evening, serves acoustic performances. And, of course, you'll have the piano performers in the Schooner Bar. The inaugural sailing of Wonder of the Seas will take place on March 4th, 2022 from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And yes, I will be on there. And yes, I'll be live blogging it. And yes, we'll have a brand new full ship tour here on our YouTube channel. Now, when Wonder begins sailing in March, she'll offer cruises to the Caribbean, in the months of March and April. At that point in May, she'll head over to Europe to start offering 7-night Western Mediterranean cruises to places like Naples and Florence and Palma de Mallorca and Provence. And then after her summer season, Wonder of the Seas comes back to the United States, goes to Florida to offer year-round sailings beginning in November 2022 when she sets sail from Port Canaveral, Florida. From there, you'll be able to visit places like Perfect Day at Coco Cay, Phillipsburg, St. Martin, Charlotte Amalie, St. Thomas, and Cozumel, Mexico. The next bit of cruise news is probably the biggest one we've heard in quite a while, and that is Royal Caribbean has opted into the U.S. Centers for Disease Control Prevention, the CDC's, voluntary COVID-19 reporting program. On the final day to opt into the program, Royal Caribbean announced it will join the, quote, highly vaccinated program, which means at least 95% of passengers and 95% of the crew will be fully vaccinated on Royal Caribbean ships. The benefit of doing this, and the reason why Royal Caribbean is doing this, is by requiring at least 95% vaccinated passengers on board, face masks will no longer be required while indoors on Royal Caribbean. That is right. You could actually walk around without a face mask on indoors, not just in vaccinated areas, but anywhere on the ship. There will be a couple exceptions, like in the cruise terminal, you still have to do that. That's part of the transportation hub. Same reason you wear a mask in an airport. It's not the cruise line's choice. That is a federal mandate. Prior to this change, Royal Caribbean had not required 95% of its passengers to be vaccinated. You may remember sister company Celebrity Cruises and even Carnival Cruise Line have both required that for a number of months, but Royal Caribbean is now joining the club there. And in addition, you'll be able to check the ship status in terms of COVID cases on board via the CDC's cruise ship dashboard. So why is Royal Caribbean making this change? Well, basically, they're making this change for a couple of reasons. Chief among them, they wanted to opt into the CDC program to begin with, but also a big change for Royal Caribbean since maybe last summer is the fact that a lot of children who are below the age of 12 are opting to get vaccinated, and the end result has been they've pretty much been at 95% vaccination rates already. In December of 2021, Royal Caribbean International President and CEO Michael Bailey said that a typical sailing is anywhere between 95 and 98% fully vaccinated on board. Now, one thing to note about this 95%, and no, we don't have more details about this. I'm sure many of you have a lot of questions about how the vaccine thing will work and what that 5% looks like. We don't have all the details yet. We do know that if you have children below the age of 5 who are not yet available to get vaccinated, like they're just not available to them, they don't count towards that 5%, so that will not be a change for them. But beyond that and how the intricacies of these programs are going to work, we're still not sure on. I'll be sharing some updates on that as we know more information about it. We do know the updated protocols will include face masks being optional for all fully vaccinated guests and expected for unvaccinated children. All kids will be required to wear face masks during Adventure Ocean youth program activities. And beyond that, we'll have to wait and see what the full list of protocols are, but Royal Caribbean obviously wanted to share that information in advance. And the last bit of cruise news I'm sharing on this video is Royal Caribbean trademark, something called Cruise Verse. Last week, Royal Caribbean filed a trademark application with the United States Patent and Trademark Office for the word cruise verse. And trademarks in and of themselves don't necessarily mean they're actually going to do anything with them. They're notoriously vague. But this one is kind of interesting. I'm going to read you the description that Royal Caribbean has for it that they placed in the application. And I don't know more than you do. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what cruise verse might be. According to the application, it says a downloadable virtual goods, namely food items, beverages, and entertainment content for use in virtual worlds. Downloadable virtual goods, namely computer programs featuring access tokens for use in online virtual worlds. Downloadable computer software, namely non-fungible tokens, NFTs, for facilitating commercial transactions. Downloadable software for viewing non-fungible tokens, NFTs. Downloadable software for use electronically storing, sending, receiving, and accepting and transmitting non-fungible tokens, NFTs. And it goes on from there. There's a lot of other breakdowns on how they talk about cryptocurrency and digital currency exchange and downloadable media. But it's something that I have certainly not heard about. And I have no idea what this could possibly be. It sounds like maybe it's some sort of a online experience. Later in one of the other trademarks, they filed like 4 for the same thing. I don't understand patent law. But it basically says operating a virtual cruise ship vessel featuring virtual cafes, restaurants, bars, entertainment venues, and virtual excursions. This could be a thing for travel agents. This could be a thing for consumers. Who knows? But it's certainly something that got my attention when I saw it because it's just something totally different that we haven't heard about before. Let me know in the comments what you think it might be. Sounds to me maybe a sailing opportunity to like, oh, come check out the cruise verse and you can, preview the ship you're going on, kind of an idea. Or it could be something completely different, and I have no idea. In fact, I have no idea. I'm just grasping at straws here. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button. It really helps us out if you hit that like button below the video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know when we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.